starring Justin Baldoni, Blake Lively. It continues. It is heating up. Baldoni publishing a website revealing private messages.
It has not just Blake Lively's complaints, but answers to it, and it goes through the very start.
Blake Lively just broke her silence on Justin Baldoni. And trust me, you won't believe what she said. After a mysterious 7-minute voice memo surfaced, fans have been buzzing with speculation. Were they working on a secret project? Was there behind-the-scenes drama? Or is this something even bigger? Well, Lively's response just sent shockwaves through Hollywood, and we've got every jaw-dropping detail. From cryptic clues to unexpected twists, let's break down what really happened and why everyone's talking about it. Stay tuned, because this one's wild. The Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively feud, 2 a.m. apology that changed everything. Hollywood thrives on drama, but some conflicts explode beyond the silver screen. The ongoing feud between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively has turned into one of the most shocking behind-the-scenes battles in recent memory. What began as an exciting collaboration on It Ends With Us has spiraled into a whirlwind of allegations, leaked messages, and career-threatening accusations. Justin Baldoni, widely recognized for Jane the Virgin and his advocacy for redefining masculinity, initially stepped into the spotlight as the film's director and co-star. But instead of a seamless production, the project has been overshadowed by controversy. The turning point came when Blake Lively, his leading lady, accused him of sexual harassment, a claim that sent shockwaves through Hollywood. Suddenly, Baldoni found himself at the center of a debate that questioned whether he was another powerful figure exploiting his position, or if there was more to the story than met the eye. Now, in an unexpected twist, Baldoni is pushing back in a way no one saw coming. Instead of issuing a simple denial or letting his legal team do the talking, he's taking a far more drastic approach, releasing private conversations with Lively to clear his name. His alleged evidence paints a vastly different picture, one where he wasn't an aggressor, but rather a director, struggling to work with a co-star who, according to him, was far more controlling behind the scenes than anyone realized. Insiders claim that tensions between the two began early in production, with Lively demanding an unprecedented level of creative control. She reportedly clashed with Baldoni over script changes, on-set decisions, and even the film's promotional strategy. What was initially framed as a professional disagreement has now escalated into a full-blown war, with both stars fighting to control the narrative. The release of their private messages is a game-changer. In the texts, Baldoni appears to plead with Lively, attempting to keep the peace while navigating her growing list of demands. If true, this could shift public opinion dramatically, transforming him from an alleged perpetrator to a man simply trying to manage a difficult working relationship. With careers and reputations at stake, one thing is certain: this Hollywood feud is far from over. The question remains, who is telling the truth? And how far will each of them go to prove it? How did it all start? Let's dig out the beginning of their work together. The power struggle, when a co-star becomes a director without the title. Working with Blake Lively wasn't just difficult. It was a full-blown nightmare, according to director Justin Baldoni and his team. From the moment she stepped onto the set, Lively allegedly wanted more than just a leading role. She wanted creative control. Insiders claim she insisted on rewriting scenes, altering crucial elements of the script, and even challenging directorial choices, all without holding any official position as producer, writer, or director. While actors often have a say in shaping their characters, Lively's demands reportedly crossed the line. Sources suggest that she didn't just make suggestions, she exerted her Hollywood influence, allegedly using her status, and even her husband, Ryan Reynolds' star power, to pressure Baldoni into compliance. It wasn't just a case of an actor sharing input. It was an all-out effort to take the reins of the film. Rather than engaging in a power struggle, Baldoni reportedly chose to accommodate her requests, hoping to keep the production on track. He adjusted scenes, reworked moments, and even reshaped the film to align with her vision. But according to those involved, no matter how much he conceded, it was never enough. She wasn't content with just playing the role. She wanted to control every aspect of the movie, revealed an insider close to the production. It felt like she was directing from the sidelines, making changes as if the entire film was hers to mold. The tension behind the scenes grew to the point where the creative process became more about managing Lively's expectations than making the film itself. Crew members allegedly found themselves walking on eggshells, unsure of when the next demand would come. What started as a collaboration quickly turned into a battle of wills, with Lively seemingly determined to leave her mark on every frame. Whether her intentions were driven by artistic passion or an unchecked desire for control, one thing became clear. This wasn't just another film set. It was a high-stakes game of power, and Lively was determined to win. In the middle of these are allegations of harassment from Blake Lively, with Justin Baldoni at the center of these allegations. Let's look into the details of her harassment claims. The New York Times. Bombshell: Blake Lively's harassment claims. The controversy took a shocking twist when Blake Lively stepped forward with explosive accusations. In a tell-all interview with the New York Times, she claimed that Justin Baldoni had sexually harassed her during filming. But that wasn't all. She also suggested that he had gone to great lengths to suppress her voice, allegedly orchestrating a smear campaign against her in the media. In an instant, the narrative shifted. Once viewed as a bitter Hollywood feud, the story became something far more sinister. Major news outlets began dissecting Lively's claims, raising unsettling questions. Had Baldoni abused his influence to silence her? Had the public been unknowingly swayed into turning against Lively? And if so, who was really pulling the strings behind the scenes? For a while, the answer seemed clear. Hollywood's collective judgment was swift. Baldoni was the villain, and Lively was the wronged party. Social media erupted with outrage. Celebrities voiced their support for Lively, and it looked as though Baldoni's career was teetering on the edge of collapse. The tide had turned against him, and for many, there was no coming back from allegations this serious. But just when it seemed the story had reached its climax, Baldoni made a move no one saw coming. In one calculated stroke, he shattered expectations and flipped the entire narrative on its head. What he did next didn't just change public perception. It made everyone question everything they thought they knew about the scandal. Let's delve into the details of his defense. The receipts. Baldoni releases private messages. Determined to prove his innocence, Baldoni made a bold promise. He would release every private message he had exchanged with Lively to expose the truth. And then, without hesitation, he followed through. What he revealed was nothing short of shocking. One of the most damning accusations against him was Lively's claim that he had inappropriately watched her breastfeed while she was naked in her trailer. It was a disturbing allegation, one that painted Baldoni as intrusive and predatory. But when he unveiled the actual text messages between them, the reality was far from what Lively had described. The messages told a completely different story. In a stunning twist, the texts revealed that Lively had invited Baldoni into her trailer while she was breastfeeding. What were her exact words? "I'm breastfeeding in my trailer. Come on over." That single sentence alone was enough to cast serious doubt on her accusations. It wasn't just a minor inconsistency. It completely contradicted her claims. But the revelations didn't stop there. As more messages came to light, the narrative continued to unravel. Each exchange painted a picture of a relationship that was far more complicated than Lively had suggested. One where mutual invitations and friendly interactions contradicted the idea of any misconduct. For those who had initially believed Lively's version of events, the revelations were a bombshell. If she had misrepresented this particular incident so drastically, what else in her story might not be true? Baldoni's decision to go public with the messages wasn't just about defending himself. It was about exposing a truth that had been buried under sensational headlines. And, as the full scope of their interactions emerged, one thing became increasingly clear. This was not the black-and-white story the world had been led to believe. The question now wasn't just whether Baldoni was guilty. It was how far the truth had been distorted in the first place. He brought up another shocking evidence that raised more questions on the allegations against him. What did he reveal? Let's find out. The 2 a.m. apology voicemail. Desperation or manipulation? One of the most puzzling pieces of evidence Justin Baldoni released was a nearly 7-minute-long voicemail he left for Blake Lively at 2 a.m. The message was packed with heartfelt apologies, self-doubt, and effusive praise for Lively, far from the tone one would expect from someone accused of being a brutal sexual harasser. Instead of intimidation or aggression, Baldoni sounded nervous, almost desperate for Lively's approval. Here's a small excerpt from the voicemail. "Hey Blake, it's 2 in the morning. Hopefully this doesn't wake you up. I just want to say I'm really sorry. I read your message and my heart sank. I know I fell short, and you put so much effort into this. I just want to say thank you for sharing your feelings with me. That takes a lot of trust and vulnerability, and I just really appreciate it." For more than 6.5 minutes, Baldoni continued in this same apologetic and anxious tone, repeatedly acknowledging his shortcomings and expressing gratitude toward Lively. His words weren't those of a powerful man exerting control, but of someone who seemed deeply concerned about upsetting her. At one point, in an attempt to lighten the mood, he awkwardly joked, "I'm just excited to spend time with you, and for us to share creative, juices together," although that sounds terrible. The voicemail presents a striking contrast to the image Lively initially painted. Instead of an overbearing figure wielding his influence to dominate, Baldoni comes across as someone walking on eggshells, deeply affected by her opinion of him. And that, some speculate, is exactly why Ryan Reynolds decided to step in. Which role did Lively's husband play? Let's look into the part played by Ryan Reynolds. The Ryan Reynolds factor. Did he think there was something more? Rumors are swirling that Ryan Reynolds may have played a significant role in escalating the tensions between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni during their latest film project. While the exact details remain murky, sources close to the situation claim that Reynolds didn't just sit on the sidelines, he actively inserted himself into the drama. At some point during the production, things reportedly took a sharp turn for the worse between Lively and Baldoni. What had initially been chalked up to mere creative differences soon exploded into something far more personal. According to leaked messages, Reynolds himself allegedly confronted Baldoni in a heated phone call, where he is said to have reamed him out without holding back. The intensity of this exchange has led many to question what exactly was at the root of Reynolds' anger. Was he simply being a devoted husband, standing up for Lively in a professional dispute? Or did he believe something far more troubling was happening behind the scenes? One particularly intriguing theory suggests that Reynolds may have suspected an inappropriate connection between Lively and Baldoni, something that made him deeply uncomfortable. If this was the case, it would certainly explain why he felt compelled to get involved so aggressively. Adding to the mystery, some insiders believe this potential suspicion may have influenced the narrative surrounding Baldoni. Initially, the tensions between him and Lively were framed as a clash of creative visions, but seemingly out of nowhere, the accusations shifted. Suddenly, Lively was no longer just frustrated with a co-star, she was accusing Baldoni of harassment. Could it be that Reynolds' intervention played a role in reshaping how this conflict was perceived? While nothing has been confirmed, the situation has left fans and industry insiders buzzing with speculation. Was this truly a case of professional disagreements spiraling out of control? Or was there a deeper, more personal rift driving the fallout? And most intriguingly, did Ryan Reynolds' alleged suspicions push this drama into the public eye in a way that might never have happened otherwise? For now, the truth remains locked behind closed doors. But one thing is certain: this story is far from over. What are the likely implications for Blake Lively? Let's find out. A PR disaster for Blake Lively. No matter where the truth lies in this controversy, one thing is undeniable. Blake Lively never saw this coming. Perhaps she expected the hashtag #MeToo movement to rally behind her, amplifying her voice and turning her allegations into a powerful reckoning. But instead of a wave of unwavering support, the response has been anything but predictable. Some still stand by her, convinced that Hollywood's power players will always twist the narrative to protect themselves. They see her as another woman daring to challenge the industry's status quo, someone who, regardless of the outcome, has exposed the imbalance of power behind the scenes. But others aren't so sympathetic. To them, this feels like another Amber Heard situation, an accusation that seemed compelling at first, but now looks more like a calculated move that backfired spectacularly. The reference to Johnny Depp's ex-wife, who famously lost a defamation case after her claims of abuse were discredited, is not one Lively would want attached to her name. Yet, it's a comparison that's gaining traction. Behind closed doors, industry insiders are murmuring that this may have never been about harassment at all. Instead, they suspect it was a battle for control, an internal power struggle disguised as something more insidious. Some say Lively pushed the narrative too far, assuming she could steer public perception in her favor. But in Hollywood, where careers are built on reputation and perception is everything, that gamble may have cost her. A producer who has worked closely with both Lively and Baldoni put it bluntly, "She played with fire, and now she's getting burned." Whether Lively miscalculated or is being unfairly vilified remains to be seen. But one thing is certain: this scandal isn't unfolding the way she planned. And in an industry that thrives on spectacle, the final act is still unwritten. The latest was the way Blake opened up, in response to Baldoni's lawsuit. Let's take a look at what her response was. Blake Lively fires back at Justin Baldoni's lawsuit, calling it a classic manipulation tactic. The legal battle between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni has taken another dramatic turn. Just hours after Baldoni filed a lawsuit against his It Ends With Us co-star, accusing both her and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, of trying to ruin his career and reputation, Lively's legal team responded with a fiery statement. In their official statement to The Independent, Lively's lawyers dismissed Baldoni's countersuit, as nothing more than a predictable move straight out of the abuser's playbook. They described the lawsuit as an attempt to shift blame and silence a woman who dared to come forward with solid evidence of sexual harassment and retaliation. "This is a tale as old as time," the statement read. A woman steps up with undeniable proof of mistreatment, and instead of accountability, the accused flips the script, painting himself as the victim while vilifying the actual survivor. This is a textbook example of what experts call DARVO: deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. Their response implies that Baldoni's legal action is not just an attempt at self-defense, but a deliberate strategy to intimidate and discredit Lively. By framing his lawsuit as retaliation, Lively's legal team is positioning her as a woman who is courageously standing against a well-worn pattern of abuse, one that seeks to silence victims through counter-accusations and manipulation. While Baldoni's lawsuit claims that Lively and Reynolds set out to destroy him, her legal team argues that this is merely a desperate attempt to deflect from the real issue at hand. The case is quickly shaping up to be more than just a legal dispute. It's becoming a high-profile battle over power, truth, and accountability in Hollywood. As tensions continue to rise, all eyes will be on how both parties navigate the legal storm ahead. Will the evidence speak for itself, or will this turn into yet another Hollywood controversy where the truth gets lost in the noise? One thing is certain: this fight is far from over. Let's look at the possibilities amid these uncertainties. What happens next? The ongoing saga between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively is far from reaching its conclusion. With each passing day, the drama surrounding the two continues to unfold, and the questions keep mounting. Will more private messages be leaked to the public, shedding further light on the situation? Will Ryan Reynolds, Blake Lively's husband, step up and defend her in this whirlwind of controversy? And perhaps most importantly, could this scandal have long-lasting effects on Blake Lively's career? One thing is certain: Hollywood thrives on scandal, and this one has all the makings of a story that refuses to die. The media frenzy shows no signs of slowing down, and the world continues to watch as the drama unfolds in real time. At the center of it all is Justin Baldoni, who finds himself in the spotlight, defending his actions and reputation. But instead of responding as a typical Hollywood figure caught in a scandal, Baldoni presents himself as a man simply trying to survive the cutthroat world of Hollywood. He insists that he wasn't acting with ill intentions or malice, but rather navigating a complex industry that often forces people into difficult situations. As more text messages and voicemails emerge, it's becoming increasingly clear that this scandal is not as straightforward as it may initially appear. The leaked messages reveal a tangled web of emotions, decisions, and misunderstandings, reminding us that the full story is rarely as simple as what we see in the headlines. It's easy to make quick judgments, but sometimes the truth is far more nuanced, and the reality of a situation can be much more complicated than it first seems. With Hollywood's fascination with drama, it's likely that this story will continue to capture public attention for some time to come. As the layers peel back and more details surface, it's impossible to predict where this saga will go next. But one thing is certain: it's far from over. What do you think about Blake Lively speaking up about Justin Baldoni after a 7-minute voice memo? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.